Hey there, it's Susan Pierce Thompson, and welcome to the weekly vlog. Welcome to the first vlog of 2022. Welcome, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So, one of the things that I'm doing differently in 2022 is I'm getting out there more. And I mean in terms of going back to trying to have a more public voice. I've been on TV from Zoom because everybody's doing everything on Zoom now. I don't know, 3 times a week for the last couple weeks. And I've got a lot of podcast interviews scheduled for the next couple months and scheduling into the mid-year actually. And I just published my first op-ed piece. I don't know how it took me 7 years of doing Bright Line Eating publicly to have an op-ed piece, but that's what it took. I still don't have a TEDx talk, so slow on the draw on some things. I am. But yeah, I'm just committed to being more vocal publicly about the topics that I think are really important to spread near and far and wide, everywhere, which is food addiction is real. Food addiction is real. Not every brain is equally affected. And for people who are affected, a program of structured eating is going to be way more freeing than trying the approach of moderation that everybody's recommending these days. And as a society, we need to protect the most vulnerable among us, like we do for all addictions, right? And that's what I want to talk about in this vlog. That's what I talked about in my op-ed piece. So food addiction is real. Food addiction is real. And, you know, when addiction, bona fide addiction is in the mix, companies are culpable. I don't really talk about that here on this vlog much. I leave Bright Line Eating to helping the individual who's identified themselves as having a problem with overcoming it. And I really like to keep it positive, and I like to focus on the things we can control. And, I'm about to wade into topics that I really don't have much control over, and neither do you. We've got a very, very tiny voice in a very loud, stratosphere here. It's a big world, and we're tiny voices, but the reality is companies are culpable. I think it was last year sometime that Purdue Pharma paid out $4.5 billion as it dissolved in bankruptcy over the OxyContin catastrophe, right? They had not been responsible with a very addictive painkiller, and 500,000 or more people are dead, and the company that made OxyContin is now bankrupt and has paid out, the families paid out $4.5 billion to settle a lot of these suits, right? So when real addiction is in play, companies are culpable. And right now, companies, not only do they know that their products are addictive, but they're using neuroscientific machinery to amplify the addiction of their products. So what I mean is they're taking people and putting them in fMRI scanners as they feed them possible snack food concoctions or show them possible swirling, melting commercials to see which images, which tastes hit the hedonic sweet spot in the addiction centers of the brain. And that's the commercials that they publish, and that's the food that they package. So they know what they're doing to our brains. And yeah, so what can we do about it? What can be done about it? Some countries are starting to get hip. The UK has been talking about this for a while now. They haven't done it yet, but they're about to put a ban on all junk food commercials prior to 9 p.m. So from 5:30 in the morning to 9 p.m. at night. This is, I think, supposed to start the first moments of 2023. So we're still a year away. But from 5:30 in the morning till 9 p.m. at night on TV, on the internet, and on social media ads, no images of high sugar, high fat, high salt foods, no images of junk food, no commercials, advertising that stuff. I think it's a really good step to, for example, not let companies advertise sugar cereal to kids or soda pop to kids. In the same way, we don't let them advertise cigarettes to kids, right? There are very, very strict guidelines in the United States around cigarette advertising, around advertising of things that are, addictive. It's interesting because I don't understand what's up with all the beer ads during the Super Bowl, right? So I don't see any restrictions around advertising alcohol, which is known to be addictive widely. So that's an interesting thing. But foods, a lot of sugary foods are targeted directly at kids in their advertising. Now, I know that the food companies pushed back hard in the UK. They still are trying to get this undermined and undone. There are some workarounds that they've gotten in, like it's not a ban against the brand. So McDonald's can still advertise when this goes into effect in the UK. McDonald's can still advertise. They just can't show their junk food, right? So if they show, I guess, a bunch of people at McDonald's eating salads, I actually don't mind that idea. Like force some of those companies to rebrand themselves a little bit healthier. I think that would be a good thing, potentially. I know that menus have been getting healthier, fast food menus what's still available is junk, but there are also healthy things. I can eat at McDonald's. I typically don't. But I can count the times in my life. There was this one time we were on a long trip. Anyway, so there are things that can be done. I think taxes are a really good idea too, and it's shown to work. There's places where they've increased soda taxes and people buy less soda. It really works. So anyway, I have an op-ed out. My very first one, if you want to check it out, it's below this vlog, so you can click and read it. It's called, "It's Time to Call the American Obesity Epidemic What It Is, an Addiction Crisis." And there's stuff in there that you've never heard me say before or seen me talk about before, because I don't usually go this route. I don't usually get all public policy about this sort of thing. But it's going to be necessary to fight this front from a public policy standpoint. It is. And I do think that there are huge moral, ethical, policy related concerns here, for sure. And there's going to be just enormous pushback. The food industry, they are some of the deepest pockets around, and it's going to be a long, hard fight. The cigarette industry went down clawing, with their claw marks on stuff. But ultimately, they were largely defeated, and far, far, far fewer people are smoking today as a result. So, if you want to check out that op-ed, what you can really do that will help is share it. At the very bottom, there's a place to just share. I think it's Twitter, Facebook, or email, but I'm talking Twitter and Facebook. If you click share, if we could get hundreds and hundreds of shares, like up to 900 shares, we would get on the front page of The Hill as, most popular article. Right now it's buried. I've given you a link to the article, otherwise you wouldn't find it. Right now it's buried. But if we got a gajillion shares on it in the hundreds and hundreds, then it would show up on the front page as most popular. So anyway, that's something you could do. Your little 1%, my little 1%, this is a David and Goliath fight for sure. And something I am committed to doing a lot of in 2022 is just getting the voice out there, just sharing about the problem, sharing about the solution, doing my best. So anyway, that's the weekly vlog. Oh, if you're listening to the podcast and you're like, wait, where do I find this? If you want to click on the article, you're going to need to go to brightlineeating.com and click on vlog, and then you can click on this vlog and then find it from there. Okay. All right. That's the weekly vlog. I'll see you next week.